Hi, folks. Thanks for listening to the Carnivore Cast, the podcast by carnivores for carnivores. This episode will be slightly different. On most episodes, I interview researchers, doctors, citizen scientists, and veteran carnivores about their experiences. This show will be talking about the upcoming and exciting World Carnivore Month and ways you can get involved with two of my previous guests, Travis Statham and Doug Wright. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Great. Well, let's just start with some quick intros. Travis, we'll have you go first. If you could just let folks know who you are, and first of all, shame on them for not listening to your episode yet.
Yeah, hey, my name is Travis Statham. I was on episode 4 of the Carnivore Cast, and I was also recently on the HVMN podcast, which was a video podcast, kind of fun. I'm one of the main moderators of World Carnivore Tribe on Facebook, a group that is now 23,000 people strong. And I'm also a moderator on the Reddit forum website for the subreddits Ketoscience and Zero Carb, which Ketoscience is about science of ketogenic diets, and Zero Carb is our other name for a carnivore diet.
Awesome. And how long have you been practicing a carnivore diet, Travis?
I've been doing it all of this year except for maybe 2 or 3 like week-long cheats where I've gained weight and then I go back on.
Got it.
It's definitely the way I prefer living. I've been doing keto for 6 years, so I feel very comfortable in this space.
Great. And Doug, how about yourself? Once again, folks should go listen to Doug's episode. He was one of the first, and he has an incredible story if you want to dive more into that. But why don't you introduce yourself, Doug?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thanks, Scott. And I'm Wright_Doug on Twitter. Also a moderator with Travis on World Carnivore Tribe. My own story, I lost a considerable amount of weight on keto and transitioned from low carb to keto to carnivore as I am now. And I've been carnivore since July of 17. And it's just been a great experience so far. I've never felt better in my life. And I've just loved sharing the message. And that's kind of my greatest takeaway in carnivory. So
that's awesome. Well, thanks for introducing yourselves. And once again, folks should check out episodes 3 and 4 with Doug and Travis, respectively, of the Carnivore Cast. But to get to the topic of the day, let's talk about World Carnivore Month. Travis, I believe you actually started the Carnivore Diet with World Carnivore Month. So maybe you'd be best to start with just what is World Carnivore Month?
So World Carnivore Month isn't like an official thing that like is recognized by the world, but we're trying to get that, I guess, recognition. I should actually look into seeing how that works out. But last year, Sean Baker had his Joe Rogan cast on December 7th. And then we announced that World Carnivore Month would be the January of that month. So we made a Facebook group called World Carnivore Month, and about 1,000 to 2,000 people joined it over the course of the month. And at the end, we realized, well, what are we going to do with this great Facebook group we all love posting in? Well, we changed the name of the group from Month to Tribe. And now that Facebook group is at 23,000 people. I have another World Carnivore Month Facebook event that I have to add to in the coming weeks, kind of as we prep. And we're just trying to bring people in who haven't tried carnivory before. It's pretty similar to a ketogenic or low carb or Atkins diet. It just kind of tweaks a little bit more and takes out the plants, and we think you can try it in a month for your New Year's resolution in 2019. You can lose 10 to 20 pounds. You can feel a lot better. You can reduce your joint pain. You can sleep better. You can have more energy. And you can join all of the social media sites and see everyone else's progress and stories and meet heal stories that kind of prove that their anecdotes are at least working.
Awesome. Yeah, folks should definitely go check out World Carnivore Tribe on Facebook. I've personally been a member since inception. I think the group has transformed a lot over time. Doug, I know you've been there since the beginning as well. Can you talk about, the purpose of the group and also the kinds of conversations and support people can get there?
So it's just been, quite the experience for me, Travis, the rest of the mods over at World Carnivore Tribe. And in all honesty, it's going into the new year kind of just to feel your absolute best and just see how reintroducing foods, feels. And I think this movement is really going to go, in a bunch of different ways. And what the group's really all about is support. It's about learning, and it's about just being there for your fellow carnivore. So.
And I guess, Doug, another quick follow-up for you is you've been through a lot of diet experiences, different groups, different types of communities. Can you talk about how World Carnivore Tribe is different, if at all, and what type of tone can folks expect from the group? Is it very science-heavy? Is it are newbies welcome? What is the overall experience of the group?
Honestly, all are welcome. It really doesn't matter where you're coming from, whether you're, low carb, vegan, or, high carb. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. You're always going to find support, and you're always going to find the questions that you want answered in our groups. I mean, we, 23,000 plus strong. All these, different people are going to be there with you. They're going to support you. And yeah, I've been through a lot of different diets on my own. And, to be honest, I got up to this point just because of all these different groups that are out there, and people should go check out. But yeah, to say if the group itself is more science-based or more support-based, I mean, you're going to see a mix of a bunch of different things. People post almost all the time. It's almost hard to keep up with it. Yeah, so. I mean, I just love posting all the success stories that I see, and I just, try to really motivate people. Some people want, the background of it, and some people just want that personal, feeling of just accomplishment. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Travis, I know you are a complete expert and phenom when it comes to other resources. And so for folks who have Facebook and sign up in the World Carnivore Tribe, join there and introduce themselves and want more resources, or folks who don't have Facebook at all, what are some other places they can go to learn more about the carnivore diet, dig into the research, get more comfortable with the history of it, or engage in other ways?
Yeah, great question. So I've been basically going on my own journey to understand the science behind this. I think if you read a couple of popular low-carb books like The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Teicholz or Good Calories, Bad Calories, you'll have a general idea how keto works. But there isn't like a great deal of evidence kind of pulled together to support the carnivore diet. And it's kind of on the fringes and like the extremes and, what most people are daring to test. So I've gone through a lot of work to kind of pull all these different sources, all these old books, all these PDFs across the internet and across the world kind of into one location so that we can read them all. And we can kind of try and read in between the lines and see if there's a carnivore hypothesis that still remains to be tested for humans. And I think it definitely remains to be tested, and that our group is one of many that are now testing this hypothesis of whether eating an all-meat diet is good for you. So let's go over some of the resources. So we've got World Carnivore Tribe on Facebook. There are other groups on Facebook as well, such as Principia Carnivora, Zeroing in on Health, 100% Carnivore and Beyond. There's a new one for eating raw meat called Rawsome. There are quite a few new carnivore groups that are much smaller that are all kind of starting up over like the last year through this interest. And I suggest joining one of the big ones and then some smaller ones that relate to how you conceptualize the diet. Now, off of Facebook, we know a lot of people don't like Facebook or just don't use it anymore. I really suggest going on Reddit. Reddit is just a giant forum with a unique login that works on every little subgroup. And you can read our latest science posted on Ketoscience. I've kind of turned a lot of the topics into relating to carnivore, although probably 80% of the sub is still like keto science based. Meat is definitely something we're studying. The role, the evolution, paleoanthropology. There's a lot of new topics that kind of relate to keto science now. Then we have Twitter is actually a very fun place to be a carnivore. If you would like to join Twitter, follow me and see all the people I follow. We have this thing on Twitter where we have a copyright C symbol, and that means that you identify as a carnivore. So it's kind of a way to counteract the vegan V sign that many people use. Or we also have kind of been playing with a K that stands for keto. So you might see those on the Twitter sphere. Twitter is not as popular maybe as the others, but you can talk to real doctors on it, and it's pretty cool. It's a nice bubble breaker. And then Instagram is actually quite interesting. There's a lot of popular carnivores now on Instagram. Sean Baker posts there almost every day. People write long like blog entries almost on Instagram. And there can be hundreds of comments, and you can make your own carnivore account. I definitely recommend it. Add some hashtags when you post your pictures, and you'll naturally just kind of join the community. And then we have some websites also that I recommend. Carb Zen is great. Some older testimonials and some really great info. Justmeat.co is made by our friend Michael Goldstein. Yeah, Goldstein is his Twitter account. And a great list of sources. And then I've been making my own. I'm actually starting to think I need to build my own website about some of this. You can also check out Kevin Stock's intro, meat.health. I think those are some pretty good ways to get started.
Yeah, those are all excellent. And Doug, a lot of folks maybe listening to this or just thinking about World Carnivore Month in general might think, oh man, that's going to require a ton of cooking. Meat is so expensive. Can you talk about, what do you need to get started? What's the minimum you need to kind of get on board and get started with the Carnivore Diet and World Carnivore Month?
I would advise most people to get to a point where it's just strictly meat and water. But if you would like to add, different kinds of animal products, go right ahead. The idea of this month is necessarily to get just a good feeling, a good vibe for what it means to be a carnivore. And if it's something that may work for you and whatever kind of health endeavors you come across, whether it be to feel better, whether it's to gain muscle, lose fat.
Yeah. And Doug, can you also expand on like some of the types of people who have relieved their symptoms in the World Carnivore tribe or in other groups that you've been involved with? Some of the great health outcomes we've seen.
Yeah, well, I've seen minor things as well as just reduced joint pain all the way up to reversing type 2 diabetes. The things that we do in our group are so extraordinary. People think to themselves, okay, how do I become a carnivore? How do I get on board? And this month is going to be something that is exciting. A lot of people are going to get involved, and it's just a test, really. Are you going to be up for the challenge? That's the idea of the month, and we're all here to support you with social media and just being around to answer all your questions. And yeah,
let me
go ahead.
Add some diseases that are talked about often on Meat Heals. So we have like a sidebar of categories, and we're trying to have different anecdotes for different kind of diseases, so you can see if like your disease would be helped by the diet. So some common ones are addiction, allergies, arthritis, back pain, autoimmune issues, cardiovascular health, digestion, diabetes, dental health, fitness, GERD, which is acid reflux, joint pain, and then there's some other ones like PCOS and migraines, and it seems like this diet helps in a lot of ways. Psoriasis has 5. Better libido and better skin, thyroid, type 1 diabetes. It's really quite extensive.
Yeah, it's great. So it's really for everyone, and it's a whole host of conditions it helps people with. And I would say, just don't be afraid to get your feet wet. You can do anything for a month, and a lot of people find they enjoy it so much that they want to continue with it. Even folks who say, "Oh man, I'll barely make it through a month, and I won't be able to wait to eat my salads." You'd be surprised. Your mindset can change a lot over the course of eating delicious meat for a month. And I'm sure folks will have a lot of other questions like, how do I explain this to my family and my friends and my coworkers? How do I make this work on the road? What about cholesterol? What about meat causing cancer? All types of things like that. What should my macronutrients be? But we'll save a lot of those for the tribe itself and some of the resources we mentioned. I'll link to a bunch of them in the show notes. But I guess we'll go out one at a time. Any final words, Travis, and then Doug, I'll ask the same of you.
I've been talking to a lot of friends recently and people about keto and carnivore. It is very difficult to tell someone to do a change in diet. It's even harder to tell yourself to do a diet change and to stick with it. But we think that the science is strong here. The social media presence is there to help support you and answer your questions. And I think that everyone in this community really wants the best for other people. It's really like a movement where we feel healthiness and we want to spread that out. So we really think that when you join us and try it out yourself, you're going to become a carnivore. You're going to be a proud supporter of this community as well. And we just want to build this community and help as many people as we can. And good luck.
Awesome. And you, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, Travis basically summed up everything I was going to say too. So at this point, I would say go into it with an open mind, because a lot of people are going to try to deter you away from the idea, and they're going to think, oh, this is crazy. This is that. We do have the science behind it. I mean, you can go check out Ketoscience. You can check out our Zero Carb. You can check out the Facebook group. We're always there to support, and this is something that honestly could be making some really big waves. So we'd love to have you on board. Don't be too scared. Don't feel like you're being pressured. This is for your health, our health, and everyone's health in the end. And we just want to see as many people healthy and thriving. So that's why we're such big advocates.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way to end it. And I'll provide links to all of this in the show notes at carnivorecast.com. And thank you both for coming on today. I'm really excited for this and hope a lot of new folks sign up.
Yeah, definitely.
Hope to see you in the group in January. Join now if you are interested. You don't have to do the diet right away. You can join today as soon as you hear this and see how crazy we are. It's not that crazy. It's going to be a good
Check it out. World Carnivore Tribe and World Carnivore Month on Facebook. Thanks, everyone.